Hello and welcome to the show. I am Joe Tophat. Frank Baum's Oz stories are some of the best ever written in the genre of fantasy. The man had a crazy imagination, and it was on full display in the Oz stories, all 14 of them. There were so many wonderful characters and adventures that you could easily adapt it into an animated series without having to add too much. Which is too bad that the makers of the 1990 Wizard of Oz cartoon didn't bother reading the books. Instead, they chose to use the 1939 Wizard of Oz movie as a basis for the cartoon. Why did they use the movie instead of the books? Well, according to the internet, the cartoon was meant to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the movie. Although they could have used elements from the books, to get kids interested in them, make them aware that there was 14 written all together and not just the one. But I digress. Is the cartoon good or bad? Let's find out. The premise of the cartoon is that Dorothy wakes up one day and finds the ruby slippers in her closet. She puts them on and just says there's no place like Oz, there's no place like Oz, and she ends up back in Oz. Which is a good thing because the winged monkeys, I guess, got bored one day and decided to bring back the Wicked Witch of the West. She steals the Scarecrow's brain, or more accurately his diploma, the Tin Man's heart, or more accurately his clock, and the Lion's courage, or more accurately his medal. She sends out something called the West Wind to keep the wizard, who is flying his balloon for some strange reason, from returning to the Emerald City. And it's up to Dorothy and her friends to defeat the witch. Okay, I have a few problems with this scenario. 1. Why would the winged monkeys want to bring the witch back? If you want to go by the book, the winged monkeys were not her loyal lackeys. The only reason why they obeyed her at all is because she had the golden cap. And whoever had the golden cap can command the winged monkeys 3 times. While it's not emphasized in the movie, there was one scene where the Wicked Witch did in fact have the golden cap. In fact, when she died, the winged monkeys as well as the Winky Guards celebrated the fact that she was killed by Dorothy. So, whether you go by the book or the movie, the winged monkeys were grateful she's gone because they're basically not loyal to her. And yet, here, they're bringing her back to life for no good reason. In the book, they were not evil in any way. It's just, they were slaves to the golden cap. Just like a genie is a slave to the lamp. So, why? And number 2, the whole point of the Wizard of Oz is that the Scarecrow, Tin Man, and Lion had what they wanted the entire time. The wizard didn't give them anything they didn't already have inside them. You see, the diploma, the clock, and the medal were basically like the magic feather in Dumbo. They just made you think you had it, but it was to bring out what you already have inside. And yet, all 3 of them acted like they lost something big. In fact, in the very first episode, they asked the wizard to give them another diploma, another clock, and another medal. But he said, no, my friends, I can't replace them. But you have what you need here and here. That is the point of the Wizard of Oz. That they had what they already have. He didn't give them anything. She took nothing from them, and yet they acted like they just lost what was important. Sorry, folks, I had to get it out there. The third problem I have with this cartoon is that they keep using the Wicked Witch of the West. Again, in the books, there were more than one villain. In the grand scheme of things, in the Oz series, the Wicked Witch of the West had been one of the least important villains in the series. The main antagonist in the books was the Gnome King. Why couldn't they use him? Or why couldn't they use Mombi? Or the various other villains in the books? Yes, I get it. They want to use the witch because she was the main villain in The Wizard of Oz. But there's no reason to not introduce the other villains to get kids familiar with the books. Yeah, they could use the movie as the premise, but incorporate some elements from the books would have been nice. And why would they even be afraid of the Wicked Witch of the West? Ignoring the books, in the movie, they were afraid of her because they didn't know how to kill her. In fact, in the movie, Dorothy didn't dump the water on her because she wanted to kill her. It was because she was trying to save her friend the Scarecrow. And now they know how to kill her. In the first episode, they actually flooded the Emerald City to try to get rid of her. And there were multiple times in the series where they sent water after her. She shouldn't be scary at all. All you need is a squirt gun. A frickin' squirt gun to defeat her. The fourth problem I have with the cartoon is, why doesn't the wizard just get out of his frickin' balloon and join Dorothy and her friends? In the first episode, it is explained by Glinda that as long as the wizard stays in his balloon, he can go undetected by the Wicked Witch. But the insanity of it is that the Wicked Witch has this stupid west wind to keep blowing him away from the Emerald City. So, if you ask me, he would have been better off to get out of that stupid balloon, enjoy Dorothy and her friends, because he wouldn't have to deal with the stupid wind. What the hell is wrong with this cartoon? Wait, get out of the stupid balloon and walk with Dorothy and friends? Yes, you may be detected by the Wicked Witch of the West and her crystal ball, but get a squirt gun! You know how to kill her, you idiots! And speaking of idiots, the fifth problem I have is that Dorothy, for some reason, doesn't seem to know how to use the ruby slippers. Even though in the intro to the cartoon, you see her putting on the shoes, click on her heels 3 times, and say, "There's no place like Oz, there's no place like Oz, there's no place like Oz." Throughout the whole thing, she doesn't seem to know how they work. You click your frickin' heels 3 times and give a command. How hard is it to remember that? Kill the Wicked Witch of the West. Kill the Wicked Witch of the West. Kill the Wicked Witch of the West. Splash. There. Problem solved. And why does she even have the shoes to begin with? Okay, ignoring the books for the second, there's nothing in the movie that indicated she still had them. In fact, the whole movie was just a dream. It was all in her mind. So, are we to assume that the cartoon is just all in her head? I'm probably thinking way too deep about it, folks. So I'll move on. Each episode uses a variation of the popular songs contained in the movie. They're done pretty well. No real big complaints here. I don't really find them necessary most of the time, but not a problem. Move on. The final problem I have with the cartoon is that they don't really explain much. Like, for instance, there was an episode where Dorothy gets homesick for Kansas. She decides to go home to Kansas to see her Uncle Henry and Aunt Em, who are Chuckle the Fat-Winged Monkey and the Wicked Witch in disguise. Why she didn't detect the problem? Who knows. Anyway, I am not bothered by the idea that Dorothy is unaware of the danger because that was the point. But what bugs me is that late at night, for no apparent reason, the ruby slippers disappear from her closet and end up on the lion's feet. And basically this is what happened. Oh God, how did these things get on my feet? Oh, now everybody's gonna think I'm a big coward. Well, put 'em up, put 'em up. I'm still tough, put 'em up. Oh, no, I'm not. I can't look tough wearing girl shoes. Oh, how did they end up on my feet? Look, there's Glinda. She will explain how they ended up on my feet. Oh, my Lion. How did those get on your feet? You don't know. You are useless, you know? Absolutely useless. The cartoon only lasted one season, and it's easy to see why. The premise just doesn't work. Although, to be fair, that it's not really that bad of a cartoon. Despite my rants about it, it's still enjoyable to watch. Yeah, it's not great, but it's far from the worst I've ever seen. So, I would recommend you checking it out. But don't expect it to be as good as, say, the Oz books or the movies. Anyway, that's all I have to say about the Wizard of Oz cartoon. Let me know in the comments section what you guys thinking. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later.